In news from the USVI criminal courts, we learned that one man is facing assault charges following a verbal altercation turned physical. A woman faces similar charges stemming from an incident with her partner, and a man is back in court for breaching a restraining order. We begin on St. Thomas, where Keyshawn Berkeley was arrested on Monday following a report of an assault over the weekend. Police visited the Roy Lester Schneider Hospital, where a man was receiving medical attention. The man told officers that he was outside the Happy View Market on Saturday morning between 7:30 and 8 a.m. when a man engaged him in a verbal altercation and then slapped him, causing him to topple over backwards and hit his head on the concrete sidewalk. Detectives traveled to the location of the incident later that day to review surveillance footage of the confrontation. They saw the complainant walking across the street to go into the store when he was stopped by a man later identified as Berkeley. The footage showed Berkeley standing on the sidewalk, beer can in hand, flailing his arms in the air before approaching the shopper. Berkeley appeared to be moving to hit the man with the can at first, but refrained at that point, continuing to argue with his visibly intimidated opponent. Detectives watched as the cameras captured Berkeley shoving the man with his shoulder, who attempted to get out of the way, and then slapping the man across his face, causing him to tumble backwards. The force of the man's head impacting the sidewalk caused him to lose consciousness, and he reportedly lay in that state for approximately 5 minutes before he came to. The footage showed blood running down the man's head as he walked away from the scene, and in the hospital earlier that Saturday, police noted the man's bleeding head with an open flesh wound on the back of the head and swelling in the area of the injury. The man ended up being admitted to hospital for further treatment, and on Monday, Berkeley was identified by detectives and subsequently arrested. He appeared in court on Wednesday facing charges of assault in the third degree and a simple assault and battery. A judge ruled that Berkeley must post his $2,000 bail requirement in cash to secure his release, upon which he will be subjected to the usual conditions: restriction to the St. Thomas-St. John district, a requirement to report to the probation office weekly. He is barred from contact with the victim or witnesses and prohibited from alcohol, controlled substances, possessing firearms, ammunition, or dangerous weapons. Berkeley is due back in court on December 16th. On St. Croix, Maritza Gonzalez was arrested on Tuesday, reportedly following an altercation with her partner over the sale of an item. A man told officers that he woke up on Tuesday morning and realized that Gonzalez, his girlfriend, was attempting to sell his gas generator. He said he interrupted the transaction and renegotiated the sale, disposing of the generator for $800 instead of the $500 Gonzalez had quoted the buyer. After the sale, the man told police that Gonzalez became violent because he did not share the money with her and used a broomstick to strike him several times about his body. He managed to put a distance between himself and his enraged girlfriend and says he left the area to avoid further confrontation. Police noted scratches on the man's chest and a laceration to his left hand, but he declined medical attention. When police asked Gonzalez for her side of the story, she told them that she was trying to sell the generator on her boyfriend's behalf and she found a buyer at the sum of $500. Her boyfriend woke up angry that Tuesday morning, Gonzalez said, and sold the generator on his own. Gonzalez admitted to police that she beat her boyfriend with a broomstick because he did not share the proceeds with her and told detectives that she would, quote, do it again, but worse. Gonzalez was promptly arrested and charged with third-degree assault as an act of domestic violence and disturbance of the peace by fighting. In court on Wednesday, a judge ruled that Gonzalez be allowed to post $500 in cash and the remainder of her $15,000 bail requirement as an unsecured bond in order for her to be released. Gonzalez was ordered to provide the court with an address within 24 hours of her release, and the usual bail conditions were imposed. She will next appear in court on December 13th. Also on St. Croix, Curtis Tong Jr. was hauled back before a judge of the VI Superior Court on Wednesday for violating a restraining order. A woman visited the Wilbur H. Francis Command on Monday to report that her ex-boyfriend was leaving threatening messages on her voicemail despite a 2-year restraining order against him that had been enacted on August 9th. She told officers that she had been in a relationship with Tong for about 3 years, which came to an end in April 2021. However, the pair interacted until July 2022, when she broke off contact following a series of traumatic experiences. That's when she was advised to obtain a restraining order against him, she said. Tong reportedly began leaving messages on her phone, calling her from different numbers even after she blocked him. She said that she activated a feature on her phone that sent all calls not from someone on her contact list to voicemail. Messages from an unknown number then began to appear, but the woman said she recognized Tong's voice. The woman played some of the messages for the officer at the station, in which Tong can be heard calling his ex-girlfriend derogatory names. In one particularly chilling message, Tong reportedly told her that she would be found submerged in Krek Dam. Shortly after leaving the police station on Monday, she contacted authorities again to say she had received another set of threatening messages. She returned to the police station to allow officers to listen to those which she received between 2 and 4 p.m. on November 28th. The woman says she was in fear for her safety and that of her child, as she believed Tong to be well capable of following through on his threats based on information she had come to learn about his previous relationships. The restraining order against Tong barred him from directly or indirectly subjecting the woman to any acts of domestic violence, including harassment or threats, and from having any form of contact with her. Forensics collected evidence from the woman's phone, and Tong was subsequently arrested at his residence later that Monday. He was charged with contempt of court as an act of domestic violence and harassment by telephone. In court on Wednesday, a judge ruled that Tong be allowed to post $1,500 in cash to secure his release. Once released, he must stay at least 50 feet away from the woman and must have absolutely no contact, direct or indirect, with her or any witnesses in the matter. Violating this order of the court will result in Tong being held in the custody of the Bureau of Corrections until his next court appearance.